All right, it says we're live into Facebook. Great. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we've got Ariel Blackwood. You've seen her a lot. She's a moderator in the community. She's also an amazing real estate agent. We're going to talk to her about getting our offers accepted in a seller's market because, damn, it's hard right now. It's not easy. So, Ariel, thanks for being on. And of course, I've got my friend and host / co-host. Sometimes he takes it on, sometimes I take it on. It's Brett from, where are you at today, man?
Oklahoma City, baby.
Oklahoma City.
Keep shaking your head, Ariel. Keep shaking your head.
I'm from Arkansas. We're like a neighboring state. I feel like I have the right to hate on Oklahoma City.
Hey, you know what? You can hate on it all day, but
I'm happy.
So good. You can't argue with that.
Close enough.
You can't argue with that. Come on. All right, Ariel, can you tell us a little bit about you, the area you work in, and how long you've been an agent?
Sure, yeah. So I am just over my 1 year mark in real estate. Both my parents are brokers. So I always used to say I got my GED in real estate because I felt like I had been doing it my whole life, even though I wasn't writing contracts my whole life. So I've learned lots in this fast year, but I'm in the metro Atlanta area. Like actually in Atlanta, my address is Atlanta. So for you people who live 45 minutes outside the city and say you're from Atlanta, we actually live in Atlanta. But also a house anywhere, let me tell you. So, but yeah, I'm with EXP. My mom and I have a team here in Atlanta and absolutely love it. So been working with a lot of buyers since it's been my first year and just wanted to kind of share some of the tips that I've learned in getting offers accepted in this, as you guys know, actually crazy market.
I love that. Well, what an amazing year to be a real estate agent in. That's crazy.
It is a year to be a real estate agent. It is something.
It's the year.
It's something.
All right, so tell us what systems, strategies, or any processes that you're using to just get anything accepted right now, because it's tough.
Yeah. So I had a client in the she was an FHA loan in the 300s range, like 305 max, and I really want to give her a lot of credit because she taught me a lot. Not her personally, but I wrote up 11 offers for her, and I started just getting like, all right, we got nothing to lose, we might as well get creative here. She ended up waiting, so because we couldn't get one accepted. But moral of the story is I kind of had the ability to start getting creative because she was like, try anything, dude. I don't just try anything.
Just do something.
Yeah. So so that's kind of what I attribute my now having some success at it, just because I was willing to try stuff and wasn't embarrassed about it. So what I've kind of figured out is, and it seems like it should be self-explanatory, right? But for some reason it's not, but just like have everything locked up has been huge. I have a total of one whopping listing right now, but I'm working with a ton of buyers, and on my one listing, the half the offers aren't even locked up. Like they forgot to include the conventional loan amendment, or like put contingencies in. Like, dude, I have 12 offers on my desk right now, and you can't include all the information. Obviously it's my right to present it to my sellers, but if you think I'm not telling them that you didn't have it together, you're wrong. So that's been the number one thing, honestly, is just like have it locked up. And what that looks like is different for every person, right? Depending on how much liquid cash they have and what their goals are. But lenders have also played a huge part in it. Working with a local lender has been a game changer. I had a client working with a big lending company, and I had two separate agents tell me, oh, I won't even look at it. I'll forward it to my seller, but I won't verbally even present it because I won't do a deal with them.
Whoa.
So that's another big thing, like working with a lender who's willing to work with you. I mean, I can go through a whole list. I don't know the best format that you want this to be in. If you want to ask me and I answer, or me just kind of flow with it.
Well, I think just
Flow with it.
yeah, just flow with it.
All right. So let's see, have it locked up, work with a local lender. I've found a lender locally who can do 0 days financing contingency. Now they do a little bit extra on the front end, but that's really strong for somebody to see 0 days financing contingency. I mean, for a seller, think about how many properties. I know I've seen a lot of properties that are like back on market because buyers financing fell through. I mean, what a nightmare for a seller. So finding a lender that can at least cut down on those contingencies. I've got a lender, that same lender actually offers $2,500 cash to the seller if the deal falls through because of the buyer's financing. And like, these aren't necessarily on us as agents, but it is on us to reach out and find those connections and build those relationships, because it is a team effort. Like closing attorneys, big deal, lenders, big deal. They all make a difference. So it kind of comes back to having everything locked up. Who's your team? Who's your go-to? I understand you can't force your clients, to use a certain lender, but after getting 3 deals not accepted and specifically told from the listing agents, hey, it's because your lender, when I go to my clients and say, look, this is the information, after a few deals, they're most likely to listen to you. So staying on top of that. But I truly, I know I keep coming back to it, but all those things are, on our own time, build those relationships, go get coffee with the lenders, go have a good relationship with whatever closing attorney, but be detail oriented, because that goes farther than purchase price. It does. I just closed on a house myself. And we weren't the highest offer by $20K, and we won because we had it locked up. Literally, the listing agent called me and said, you're not going to believe this, but I just had an offer come in at $20K more than yours, and we weren't binding yet. Oh my gosh, we lost that house, didn't we? I mean, they were investors too. And, she said, no, they didn't have everything locked up, and they didn't include all the forms that were necessary that I posted on the MLS. Boom, done. I just talked for a really long time, but those are don't let me go too long. But those are really the biggest things that I've noticed, and it comes down to just what I said. It's not that hard to freaking be detail oriented and check every box.
All right. So what makes you stand out as a real estate agent? Because here are some things that I'm looking at, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but some agents are like, well, that's tough because I'm having a challenge because I'm a newer agent. You're a newer agent, right?
Sure.
That's something that could be seen as something that's a detriment to you offering something. And the market that we're in, geez, like 50 offers at a time, right? How do you stand out so that when the agent says, well, look, I've got 20 other offers, how does yours stand out besides what you talked about? Anything that is helping?
So before I even show the property, I'm reaching out to the agent to try and get them on the phone. I want them to hear my voice. I want us to bond over something, whether it's raining outside or whatever, BS, like kind of friendship you have to make. I mean, be nice and genuine, but
I want to bond between Brett and I about talking about cookout.
Exactly. Gosh, I should have brought the cookout sign in here for this. What was I thinking? I haven't decorated my office yet. I'll have to come up with something good. But building that relationship before I even show the property, one, I mean, you can't lose. Even if your clients didn't like it, can't lose. You've made a new relationship with an agent. Maybe there'll be a deal down the line. You never know. But I actually just closed yesterday on a deal that my relationship with the agent made all the difference. And here's the story. I just called her and said, hey, I'm headed to show this property. What can you tell me about it? What can you tell me about your sellers? Is there anything that I should really point out? Or, how can you help me with any of this? She was great. We talked on the phone for 2.5 minutes. I texted her right after, hey, here's how it went. Here are his concerns. We'll keep you posted. She might not have responded for like 3 texts, but they were just updates, right? Like I was continuing communication with her. And after I sent the offer, or right before, I called her, hey, I'm about to shoot you over an offer. Check your inbox, make sure you got it while I'm on the phone here. I've got her fully engaged while she's looking at her inbox. Obviously, you can't do this every time, right? Agents don't answer their phones, they're in closing their showings, whatever. But this particular time, I'm like, all right, did you get it? Do you have any questions that I can walk you through? This is a young guy who's really excited to get into this area, just kind of telling her story again. I've already included the whole story in the email, but I go ahead and reverbalize that to them. And she said, you know what? I've got about 10 other offers and this is not the highest one, but man, I've really just enjoyed talking to you and I feel like I know your buyer. Let me go back to my seller. She said the next day, my seller's leaning toward a different offer, but I said, no, we need to go with Ariel's offer. I can tell she's going to be good to work with. And if that's better than getting $5,000 more, because she's got it together. Seller said, all right, whatever you say. Closed on it yesterday. And that's not like, oh, let me pat myself on the back. Anyone can do that. I didn't do anything special other than invest some time and commit to communicating.
I like
So
that.
I've got a couple of things here that I love to use. So for a buyer's agent right now, it's really, really tough. One thing that I tell anybody that's trying to get any offer accepted in this marketplace right now, one is tell your client's story. And so this is something that when you look back at my real estate career, I was primarily a listing agent. I was buyer right off the bat. I mean, I did a lot of buy sides, but I did a lot of sell sides, and we had a wait list for sellers to work with us. So when you look at that, and we would get offers in, my favorite one was when someone would be like, these clients would be a perfect fit for the house. Okay. If you look at that, have them really truly write a story about why they love that specific house. Not, we want to buy a house because we're tired of living in an apartment or we're tired of renting. Tell the story of that house. What is it about that house that would make it a good fit for the client? And ask the client to write something up on it. That works really well. Second, include a photo. I know that's really lame these days. It's like, oh, I want to put a photo on there. Put a photo on there. The most creative ones that I've seen, my favorite one so far was actually back when, this is way back when I was selling a place that I had when I was in Long Beach, California, way back when. We had a whole bunch of offers that came in on our property. And the one that stood out to me, and the one we actually ended up going with, was one that included a story of the dog, like the dog's point of view of why the dog would love the house. And at the time, my wife and I at the time had a lot of dogs. And so we were like, okay, that's a riot. The dog signed it with a little paw print. I was like, oh, come on. I had to go with that offer. So do something unique like that. If you have, if the client has animals, do something from the animal's point of view, why the animal would like the house. I know that's lame. Or like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old. If you have a kid, why would the kid want to be there? So those are some quick ones. My other big ones that I tell everybody to do now, go back to agents that you've worked with in the past and get them to leave you a testimonial. So go back to all the agents that you've worked with. So Ariel, in your case, you've closed a few deals this year. Go back to those agents that you worked with and get a testimonial on what it was like to work with you. Whenever you submit an offer going forward, those testimonials should be going over with your review or your offer. So it's going to be on a whole separate sheet. This is what other agents say it's like working with me. And so that agent that's getting that may have no idea who you are. But if they look on that list and they're like, she is phenomenal to work with, she always locks up her offers, she's detail oriented, blah, 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 blah. All of that's going to come across to this other agent. That other agent's to be like, hey, we need to go with her because this is going to be a really smooth transaction. The other one is if you work with a local lender and you're really close with this local lender, get them to do the same thing. What is it like working with this lender? Have them go back to their past clients, have them go back to other agents, and go to those agents and say, hey, what was it like working with me? Now, why? Because we're trying to do stuff that differentiates ourselves. And that's how you're going to differentiate yourself in a market. Everybody can send over a client review. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this is what my clients think of me. No, this is what agents think it's like to work with me. If I saw that come across my desk, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is an easy one. Is it worth $5,000 more to go with a deal that could potentially fall apart? It's your call, but I wouldn't do that. So there you go. Those are my three things for you.
No, I love that. And, I talk about on here before, or I have talked about here on here before, the psychology of real estate. And I love the story piece. Before I got into real estate, I was a professional storyteller, and I worked a lot on the psychology of storytelling. So when you tell a story to somebody, it actually activates the same chemical in your brain that tells you to trust someone. So regardless of what that story is, or if you personally relate to it, odds are you probably know somebody who does, or you've heard a similar story. Whereas if you're just saying, hey, I'd like to get out of my apartment and move into this house, like Brett's saying, yeah, everyone's felt that way, but that doesn't activate okay, I trust these people, I can connect with them. But when you say, you know what, I'm so excited these people are so excited to be a first-time home buyers, and they were just dreaming of this sunroom where they could drink coffee and read their book in the morning and blah, 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 blah. That's a story that people can connect to. So yeah, I love that. In every email, I write something about the specific home. I wrote one just before we got on here about the specific home. It was about the sunroom, actually. And, part of the basement and how well they've kept up the home. And you could tell they had kids. So I talked about my clients' kids and how family oriented. I mean, you want to connect with people, grab all the tips that you can, look around the house. One was clearly a high school lacrosse player. All right, does my client's daughter play lacrosse? Sure does. Great, love that. Let's connect it. So I really like that. The perspective of the dog is killer.
I thought, seriously, I saw that when that came across, and I was looking at it, I'm like, damn it. This wasn't the highest offer. but it's a connection piece. And that's exactly what that agent did. That agent knew that we were going to get a boatload of offers that weekend. And so they went through and they saw things that we had that they were like, oh, these people like dogs, or these people like baseball. Or if they saw, bikes in my garage, they might be like, oh, he really likes riding bikes. Oh, my client is a long distance cyclist and blah, 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 blah. Is going to use the garage for her training. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff, Ariel, you hit the nail on the head there, where if you go through the house, because they're going to be looking at everything else. When you, the agent, walk through the house, find different ways to make connections with your client and the people that are selling the house. That's truly brilliant. Because then you can turn around later on and be like, okay, let's make this connection and this connection and this connection, and make it so those people that are selling feel like they know the clients.
That's very true. I love all the suggestions here. And then everything all in one PDF when you're submitting. Don't ever forget that.
I like to send them separately.
Oh, all right. Tell me about it.
Tell me why.
Tell me your approach.
Because, oh no, I'm so sorry.
Oh, someone's calling her
I
out
know,
right now.
I forgot to turn it off before this. Sorry.
All right. Shoot.
I like to receive them separately, because with EXP we use SkySlope. You've got to upload them separately. You got to send different things to the closing attorney. I like to be able to oh wait, what was that conventional loan contingency? All right, let me pull that up. I can look at that individually. I don't have to pull up a PDF and scroll and see how far. I can have the purchase and sale pulled up here, conventional loan here, and present to my client easily. I'm not having to scroll through. I like it separate. But a lot of agents put on the MLS, please send all in one PDF, and obviously then I do. But I also like them to see how much effort I've made. Look how many attachments I've got here. I've already locked all this up for you. You don't need to ask me for the lead-based paint. I already got it off the MLS and did it, seller's property disclosure. I already took care of that and had my client sign it for you there below. But I know it's an unpopular opinion.
No,
I
that's
like
not
it all
bad.
coming across as one because then I break it all off in SkyFlow. It's like break, 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 break all the way down. And it's like, oh, all imported. And the best part is they don't forget to send something. Like it all comes through and it's like, oh, here it is in one PDF. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is storyteller, not storyteller. Different mindset.
That's fair. That's fair. And usually you can kind of tell when you talk to the agent too, if they're like, all right, yep, here's what they're looking for. Yep, all right, send it over. You know, if they're real short, you probably want to send it all in one. But if they're detailed and more floral in their communication, they probably don't care. So I could just go with what I like.
I would base that on whether or not they have a professional email address or a Gmail address. And I say that because if they have a Gmail address, most of the time, they're not gonna be tech savvy enough to find all the documents that I send over. So I send it in one. But if they have a professional email address, I know that sounds really terrible. And so I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for that. But I don't like that. I don't like Gmail addresses. So, and Gmail, I think actually has a limit on how big of a file you can send or something like that. So
I think you're right.
to each their own.
Dude, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think it is a good point.
I think it's very valid. All right, let's shift a little bit, talk about AI. I just wanted to throw that in there because I know all three of us love it. It doesn't have much to do with getting the seller offer accepted, but it has a ton to do in locking in the seller clients. So how do you use it?
You asking me or BB?
I'm asking, oh, B, look at that. B,
BB,
Now
wow.
that's
I
shortened.
called you BB. Well, I like that. I like BB.
Go ahead, Ariel, because everybody knows how I already use it. I just
BB.
let it run.
All right, there you go. What do you do?
Same thing. I first just let it run, but I check in with it. I check in on most, as many as I can at the end of the day, or during my lunch period or whatever. I'll check in, see people who have responded, and it'll notify you so and so responded to your AI assistant. Even if they responded no thank you, I'll still shoot them a message. Obviously I can't get to all of them, but I still try and shoot a message. Hey, this is Ariel, thanks for chatting with my robot assistant. Like, more than happy to take you off my list. Just wanted to follow up personally. Happy to help you in the future. And most people then kind of change their tune and are like, oh, thanks so much. Or they never reply and I don't care because they unsubscribed anyway.
That's interesting. You actually admit that it's AI.
Yes, because I think it's obvious. And I think if I call it out, they're more okay with it versus if I'm like, oh, that's my assistant, Audrey. They're like, yikes, she's challenged.
Okay.
No.
I'm glad you went there. I baited you right there. I was like, come on. And I was waiting for you to do exactly that. I love when the bot screws up and sounds like a bot. I love it. I love it more than anything else.
Opportunity, right?
I call them and I'll flat out say like, hey, dude, I am so sorry. I'm training an assistant and obviously that went horribly wrong. You only get to work with me from now on, so you don't ever have to deal with them again. How can I help you? And that usually I get a pretty good laugh out of that one. It's like, dude, I am so sorry. And usually they'll start laughing. They'll be like, yeah, I totally understand. They're like, I had to train somebody too. It's like, oh, thank God. But I like when it does that. And I have never, ever, I had to look because someone asked me this. They emailed me and asked me. I looked up and over in all the conversions we've had with the AI assistant, only one person has ever called out that it was a bot. Only one out of all of the conversions. So what I tell people, and I usually have Post-it notes on my desk, but since we moved, I don't have Post-it notes on my desk. But what I will tell people is that, like, when I reach out to them, AI assistant flagged it as hot. I will call that lead and be like, hey, my assistant left me a really bright pink Post-it note on my computer to call you about your home search. And then I will literally pull up what the bot talked to them about and be like, talk about your home search in Oklahoma City. It looks like you were looking for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Is that about right? And then they'll just start talking and I just shut up and listen. And I will literally take notes and make sure it all looks right. And then my job with the AI assistant, my goal is I use that to ensure that the home search that Chime has set up for that lead is accurate. And I make them very clear. Like I tell them on the phone, this is why I want to make sure this is set up, because I never, ever, ever want to send you spam. Because if I start sending you spam, you're going to miss the good properties that you really want to see. So let's make sure we get this straight and get it set up correctly the first time. That works really well. I highly suggest that.
I don't think we're doing things that much differently though.
No,
Like,
you just call it a bot though. I'm just messing with you.
well, like I say that whenever the bot says something wrong, then I'll say like, oh, sorry, still training my robot assistant. What's up? You know what I mean? Versus like, then they're like,
sorry,
oh,
training my robot.
yeah, exactly. And then they usually get the same response of, oh, haha, okay, I was wondering, you know, and then I'm like, all right, cool, now it's me, I'm a human, what's up?
Yeah, I'm real.
Yeah, I had a new
Skynet.
client the other day who I finally got him on the phone and he said, gosh, you know why I decided to work with you? And I was like, I don't know.
Don't know where this is going.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, I'm sure. He's like, well, I almost named my son Ariel. I had a really good friend in the military with the last name Blackwood, but mostly your AI assistant's like a bad ex-girlfriend, man. She won't leave you alone until you give in and call her back.
Dude.
And I was like, yeah.
You need to post that up. That's hilarious.
She
put that in the Facebook group the other day and I about died.
Yeah.
That's Chime's new marketing for the AI assistant.
Perfect.
Pretty much like a crazy ex-girlfriend. Won't stop calling until you pick up.
Yep.
Dude.
I mean, I thought that was the funniest thing. I said, oh, well, I hope I'm not like a bad ex-girlfriend. I mean, not that I want to be your girlfriend. Anyway, so when are you available for so awkward? And I was like, oh gosh.
I just want to make a point that I'm pretty sure that Adam Frank just registered crazyexgirlfriendfollowup.com.
He did.
No way.
Probably did. Crazy.
Chime. He probably did.
That's happening. I can see that.
That you guys. All right. Well, look, that's all we have time for. But that was fun. I like that. The crazy ex-girlfriend story is hilarious.
I know.
That's so great.
I love it. Anything else you guys want to add?
I do. I also want to say I started using Revaluate and have crushed using the Revaluate numbers and then having AI assistant reach out. It's been a game changer. I know we're out of time, so I'm happy to elaborate at any other time, but I had that happen this morning and just wrote up an offer for somebody through Revaluate that came through, and my AI assistant reached out and I wrote a $600,000 offer, and it's really awesome. So would definitely love to explore Revaluate more. I know we're out of time, but I had it on my list and then I ran my mouth too much.
I need to use that. Brett, are you using Revaluate?
Nope.
All right.
I'm like the oddball here that's not. And the only reason that I'm not, honestly, I haven't really explored it too much because we're so busy trying to stay afloat as far as all the leads coming in from the new seller lead generation thing from Chime. That's been just stupid. So that's it.
All right. I love it. Dude, let me see. Adam says, hey, Adam agrees with you. He said, hold on. I hate Gmail addresses for business. It's super tacky.
And then he said Revaluate is a great system and he likes it a lot.
Oh, nice.
Okay, maybe I should try this.
Yeah, I think
so. There you go. I'm gonna try it and I'll get back to you guys.
We should
Please
try
do.
it.
It's super awesome. It works great with Chime too. It's been nice. They're not paying me to say that, I swear. It's really cool.
Not yet, but now they might.
Not yet, exactly.
now they might.
Ariel, thanks for being on. If you have any referrals for Ariel or just in Georgia, just send them all to Ariel. She covers Atlanta and she'll find somebody great if she doesn't cover it. Thanks, Ariel.
Sure will. Thanks, guys.
Hey, send me one of your shirts, Tristan.
I'll send you.
We can match on the next webinar.
Send me a BB shirt.
BB?
You got it.
Oh, okay. Done. Bye.
See you guys.